The rain began before they even stepped outside. Drops tapped against the window frame, as if someone above was knocking insistently. Wait. Don't rush. 7 o'clock, Claire said, staring at the clock hands that mocked her calmness. Ethan, we're already late. Everything's under control, he answered cheerfully, patting his pockets. Well, almost. Almost is usually how disasters begin, she sighed. Where are the keys? I thought you had them. No. Then I definitely saw them somewhere. Maybe? The phone slipped from his hand and hit the floor with a dull thud. Her bag caught on the doorframe. Her glasses flew aside. Claire froze, closed her eyes and laughed, nervously, wearily. This is pure comedy, she muttered. An endless rehearsal of chaos. At least it's not boring. Ethan winked, picking up the things. Sometimes I wish you'd just do everything calmly for once. Then life would lose its flavor, he said lightly. Everything kept falling out of their hands, yet it didn't irritate them as before. Maybe the rain had washed away some of the fatigue. Maybe deep down they both sensed this evening would be different. When they finally stepped out, the rain was drumming on the rooftops. Ethan cursed. The umbrella was still at home. They had to go back. 5 extra minutes. Just 5. On the staircase, while he searched for the umbrella, Claire stood gazing through the foggy window. The streetlights beyond looked like shadows underwater. Everything around felt quieter, more attentive than usual. Why is it always like this with us? She asked as they finally went downstairs again. The rush, the forgotten things, the delays. Because we're alive, Ethan said, pushing the door open. And because, apparently, someone up there knows life is never dull with us. The air smelled of wet asphalt and autumn. They ran, laughing and arguing, skipping over puddles. Streetlights shimmered in the water, turning sidewalks into mirrors. The city seemed to watch them, silently but kindly. Ethan held Claire's hand, and when she slipped, he caught her. Watch your step, Miss Disaster. And you, look ahead, Mr. Chaos. They both laughed. As they walked, Ethan's phone blinked, missed calls. Their friends were already waiting at the restaurant. We'll be the last ones again, Claire sighed. At least we'll make a dramatic entrance, he replied. They turned the corner. The rain suddenly softened, as if the city held its breath. Then came a deep rumble, like the sky collapsing onto the ground. Ethan stopped abruptly, pulling Claire close. From the roof just ahead, a heavy mass of snow slid down, sharp icicles slicing through the air. They shattered on the sidewalk, scattering icy shards everywhere, right where they would have been. If not for the forgotten umbrella, a second of silence. Then another. Claire exhaled and laughed quietly. We could have been there. Ethan nodded, still holding her hand. But someone didn't let us. He looked at the ice, the broken shards, as if they reflected an unseen hand. They walked on slowly, unhurried. The sound of rain grew softer, calmer. Everything around looked different now. The lights warmer, the streets wider, even the air somehow grateful. At the crossroads, Claire stopped and looked up at the sky. Sometimes things don't just happen, she whispered. Small accidents. They can be salvation. Or a warning, Ethan said. We just rarely notice it. He wanted to say more, but she only nodded, and they fell silent. No more words were needed. The restaurant was noisy and bright. Friends were already at the table, laughing, arguing, waiters mixing up the orders. Someone waved, "Finally! Late again, as always." Ethan sat down without explaining. Claire watched the raindrops sliding down the window, each one like a passing minute, fleeting but necessary. "Imagine," she whispered, "if we'd left a minute earlier." "Then everything would have been different," Ethan said. He took her hand. "But I'm glad we were a minute later." Outside, the rain grew heavier, but it no longer felt cold or sad. It was just part of the world, the same world that sometimes interferes with our plans to protect us from something we never even had time to fear. Claire smiled. Maybe life isn't against us after all. Maybe it just runs on its own schedule. And its own timing, Ethan replied. A second here, a second there, and everything changes. They sat there, listening to the hum of the restaurant like music. And behind that sound, very faintly, there seemed to be a whisper. "Don't rush."